Welcome back, folks. The Remsen St. Mary's Hawks are on fire. Winners of 7 straight and undefeated in the War Eagle Conference. They would look to keep that streak going when they took on Hartley Melvin Sanborn. Now HMS enters the Battle of the Hawks at 8-7. We'll pick up bottom of the second inning. Claire Schroeder sends a hard hit ground ball back up the middle. Octavia Gallus crosses the plate. And it's 4-0 RSM. In St. Mary's, they just keep it going. Hallie Bunkers sends a blooper down the first base line, and it's fair. Not 1, but 2 runs coming in to score. And Remsen St. Mary's runs away with this one, 11-2. Out in Mobile, the Woodbury Central Wildcats hosted West Monona. We'll start off top of the first. Brianna Hill goes to steal second, and the Wildcats, the throw is a little too far. Hill gets the green light, coming all the way from second then to home to score. And the Spartans take a 2-0 lead. Into the top of the second we go now. Brianna Hill back at the plate. She pops one up to center field. It'll fall. That brings in 2 Spartans. And it's 5-1 now. West Monona cruises to the win, 20-4. Tense moments in Lamar's. Galen Catholic and Trinity Christian in a close one. Bottom 6, Isabel Lammers puts a jolt into this ball, sending it to left. That scores Larissa Poland, and it's 8-6 Jays. Galen would lead 10-6 when the inning ended, but don't count out the Tigers. Micaiah DeJager sends a fly ball in the right center. It drops, and that allows Jaylee DeJager to score, and it's 10-8 now. But Addison Cons comes through with the K to end the game as the Jays take this one 10-8.